So right now I'm just going through the edits of Legrenzi's Giustino, which we prepared here in Pinchgut last year, and I have met up with my old friend and the star of that show, Nicholas Tamagna, and we took a moment out of our sweaty lunch to come and talk about Giustino and all the things that Nicholas is up to.
Yeah.
But it's so lovely to see you. And what have you been up to since we did Giustino?
Actually, I went from Giustino and then I zoomed ahead about 300 years to do this Jonathan Dove piece. But so I've been doing a lot of contemporary music and now preparing to do something completely different, doing Orfeo, which is much more lyrical, standard sort of rep thing. And luckily I've had 2 months kind of break between the last thing with the Dove and now to kind of reset my voice to do that kind of thing. And I'm going to be in San Francisco Opera this year doing my debut, which I'm very excited to do.
Which show is that?
It's Handel's Partenope.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And that's with another Pinchgutter, I think, Carlo Vistoli.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yes, he will be in this production.
Only the best countertenors. Now, you have probably not done any Legrenzi since Giustino, right?
No.
And you probably will never do another Legrenzi opera.
I mean, unless Pinchgut decides to bring me back for one, I don't know.
Exactly.
We don't do it much in Europe either. It's maybe there's been a couple of instances of Legrenzi operas being performed by any major company. And it's very rare.
I know, it's rare, isn't it? And when I was, after we did Giustino last year, I went to Europe.
Yeah.
And I got some of your wonderful recommendations for Roman restaurants from Nicholas. He was really great. I actually saw a friend of mine, Olivier Fortin, in Paris, and he's just recorded a Legrenzi oratorio. On Alpha, which is really great. So the oratorios are really, it was really nice to chat with him about it. But as we're doing the editing, I'm just reminded of all the wonderful memories of doing this show with you. And one that really leaps out to me is, of course, it's never been really performed, never been performed before, and we had to make cuts on the fly. And so my score is so hilarious. It just looks like patchwork. There's 2 bars here, and then there's 2 bars at the bottom, because I would just white out everything. Yeah. Anyway, what's wonderful is it is so seamless. As we're looking at the show and preparing it for this beautiful on-demand video. But what was your sort of, how did it go? What were your memories of all those cuts?
I mean, those cuts, they feel like battle scars when I think back. I mean, there were so many, because of course I learned some things that we then on the fly changed. So. Sometimes I had memorized huge chunks of text and moments that we eventually didn't do, and then I was skipping ahead by 15 measures or something, and so then in your brain you're like, wait, where am I? It was very disorienting sometimes. But we of course everything made sense in the end, but it was just kind of this mental gymnastics that you had to do to kind of remember everything that you were trying to do. I know. And make sense of it in the Italian. And I mean, I have the added, it's a blessing and a curse that I can speak the language. So for me, sometimes if you cut things and I don't understand the sense of the language where it's going, because I'm not really translating and I'm not just memorizing it rote. I'm actually thinking about what I'm saying as I say it. And so sometimes if it doesn't make any sense or I haven't made the sense of where I'm going with it in my mind before, then I'm totally lost in the moment. And that happened a couple of times.
I know. I think to everyone.
Yeah.
But what I liked about it was interesting because we had this complete opera, we had to make it a bit more manageable, we had to make it workable.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's what they did in the day. I mean, Handel, it's so interesting, you look at these scores and there's just big cuts, exactly what we did. So I like to think that what we're doing is very historically informed and authentic.
I think it's very authentic. Yeah.
But it's lovely going over the music, Nicholas, because you sound absolutely magnificent, but the impression of Legrenzi is this amazing kaleidoscope of just different moods. It's so quickly, and we just did Handel, Theodora ourselves, and Rinaldo before that, and it's such a difference from the Handelian model where you've got large swathes of beautiful lyrical beauty and structure. The Legrenzi was great in a way because it's like MTV or it's like scrolling through Instagram because you literally have an aria that goes for 8 bars or then you have a more extended thing. Was that your memory of it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's perfect material for like a reel on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
The arias can sometimes be not even more than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But, or at least it feels like that. But, yeah, the pieces are quite short. They do have a structure, though. They're not.
Absolutely.
They don't feel. Doesn't feel through composed in the way that, say, Monteverdi or earlier works feel, where there's maybe not so much of a sense of an aria at all. They do feel like there are arias and recits and arias and recits, but they just structure themselves in much shorter time frames, and so that also means that the drama moves quite quickly, and I think that's actually one of the strengths of the style of Legrenzi, is that you have a kind of story that moves quite quickly, like it would in contemporary storytelling, like movies and mini-series and things that we're used to watching nowadays as an audience. So it felt quite modern, in a very weird way. And for us as actors, and I come to opera also from doing a lot of acting before I even kind of ventured into opera, and so for me, it felt a lot more like approaching something as an actor than a singer. Although that's of course a big element of it, and it's certainly just as virtuosic as singing Handel or anything like this. I mean, we were talking about the range of the role is quite wide,
enormous.
So there are demands vocally, but you feel somehow that you can approach it more like an actor in the way that you create character through colors in the voice, and you have these sort of shorter moments that you don't have to extend the emotion quite so long as you would in a Handel opera. We have to keep reinventing reasons. Why am I still singing this aria 8 minutes later? Whereas in this it was, the emotion happened, it happened in real time, and it was over and we moved on. And so this feels somehow more natural.
Yeah, exactly. So where are you off to now? What's the plan after your little holiday here in Australia?
Yeah, I go straight back to Germany, where I live now in Oldenburg, and keep prepping stuff before I leave for Orfeo. Great. And so basically I'm just now winding down my vacation time, and then I'll be pretty busy now and through till Northern Hemisphere summer, and that'll take me. Yeah, and right now there's been a sort of lot of last minute things, so I've got a lot of concerts coming up in the fall and things, so I have a lot of things to prepare. So it's great, and I'll be just heading back to do that and work and be in my little apartment in Germany and enjoy that.
Moving from 35 degrees, 600% humidity to like -2. Yeah. I'm going to give you a sweaty hug.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's so lovely to see you.
It was great. Great to be here.